Welcome to the MIB podcast, where we help you chase your dreams side by side. And now, your hosts, Mike and Talia Osborne.
Good morning!
Hey, everybody.
On the request line! This is Mike.
And Talia.
You're listening to
The MIB podcast.
the MIB podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day. This is our third podcast we're recording today. It's a lot of fun. Talk about efficiency. Episode 16, we talked about that. And this is what we're doing today. We're stacking all the podcasts that we are doing in one day for the week. Boom, bada bing. That's how we roll.
And that's after having a recording faux pas yesterday with tons of echoing. So we had to redo 3 episodes, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to tell you, this episode here, I know it's going to be lightning, thunder, fire, everything that's great. But it probably won't be as good as the one we did yesterday. So I'm sorry. But you'll never know that. It's like, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. You're never going to know how good it really could have been, right?
Yeah. And don't forget about episode 17. We talked about private labeling. We kind of just go through our story of some of the stuff that we learned through the process with different products and the steps to kind of get you started, get your foot in the door. If you have more questions about it, feel free to email us at info@themibpodcast.com. Don't forget to follow us on facebook.com/MIBpodcast. And we're also on Stitcher, iTunes,
Anchor, Podbean, everywhere YouTube, anywhere that people talk and leave videos.
And you can please leave us a review. We would love it.
We really appreciate it. We love doing this. We'd like to know if you like it or not, right? We have downloads going up. We know you're doing it. So, click the button, hit subscribe, and then go out there and leave a review for us so we know what's going on, right? So today's episode number 18, and this one's going to be called
Married and Buried in Debt.
Oh, I can't believe I'm buried in debt.
I'm dying. Okay, so.
Like Dracula. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like blah. I'm buried in debt.
Yes, something like that.
Or like Borat, maybe.
I don't know. It was really bad. Either way. So there are tons and tons of people who are married and buried in debt, single and buried in debt. And it's a rough life.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing positive about owing someone money. It's like they always have something over your head. Every penny that you get, you owe to that person until you pay them off. Even if you have a payment plan, whatever, you owe them money. And, it's just not a good situation.
Yeah. Started at the beginning of my entrepreneur career and years ago. First thing I ever listened to or read, I was not a reader before I started learning business, right? I literally turned myself into a learner, a reader. And first book was always, it was the Entrepreneur Starter Guide, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everybody's probably read that, heard about it, whatever. And it still holds up today. It's still a great book. I still love Robert Kiyosaki. I just don't agree anymore with it, what he says. It's basically he calls it OPM, other people's money, to leverage other people's money in real estate to be, have a cash flow,
right?
Create cash flow, creating cash flow businesses that give you money over and over and over like clockwork.
There's even a game called Cash Flow. It's amazing. I love that game.
Yeah, $200, but it's great. It really is fun, right? Yeah. So that was my first part. So I'm like, well, debt is not bad, right? Debt's good. Debt can be leveraged to whatever. The problem is how many people are out there using debt to actually buy real estate? Most people are, but does it really create cash flow? It killed me when he told me, I heard these success stories of people that would, do $300,000 in debt or whatever to make $300 residual a month. I'm like, $300? That's not a lot of money, but 300,000, that doesn't make any sense, like why? But what if it needs a roof? Then that $300 a month times 12 months, $3,600 is not going to pay for the roof. And this type of stuff I've always wondered. But there's people that are really good at making money, leveraging debt. Grant Cardone, I follow him. You know, he's an amazing salesman, amazing at finding real estate deals. But I would be scared to death to do that. Know your comfort level of taking on debt. A lot of people out there right now push credit cards because you get cash back.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know, the most marketed items in the world are credit cards and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Why is that? Do you think it's because they want to give you 1.5% cash back? Do you think that what's in your wallet matters, right? Do you think that that's going to be something that's going to help you, right? Emergency, whatever. Well, no, I don't even get that anymore. But literally, how does that really help you in the long run?
Right. You know, the book we read happens to be the Bible. It talks about how the borrower is slave to the lender. Now, what's a slave? It's someone who is under complete control of somebody else, of the owner. So you basically, when you're working to pay your bills and to do all these things, you're actually working to pay these people off. So I have started, like, we're going to go through our history of our debt and kind of where we're at now. But, you know, I've actually started telling people when I go into stores and they say, don't you, you know, you could save so much money with getting this credit card. You can get all these rewards and, you know, it's going to be great and you're going to save this much money today. And I just look at them and I say, I don't believe in using other people's money. I have my own.
I worked hard for my money that's in my pocket. I want to use it, right?
Yeah, because when you really think about it, really like sit down and think about it. You're going to spend, say, $1,000 on that credit card to get what, $10 back? Are you really saving money? $10 versus $1,000. And then you got to calculate in the percentage that you owe to them in interest. So does that $10 even really matter?
Oh, but Talia, I pay off my credit cards every month.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. So
now we're not telling you anything, just giving you our opinion or whatever. One thing, we're pretty much right, but we're going to show you that it doesn't work out like that all the time.
No.
Here, I'll tell you one thing that you should know for sure. If this is oh my gosh, I had no clue, something's wrong, right? Your screws are loose. Life is unpredictable.
Yes, very much so. And one of the things that happened with us, we're going to go like back and forth through our history and all that good stuff. But Mike brought up, I'm going to pay it off every month. So, for example, a few years ago, was that last year?
No, last year.
Oh my gosh, last year. It seems like so long ago. Last year, of course, we had our Amazon business. Mike had gotten a credit card to rebuild his credit, and we decided we're going to use it for business.
Why? Why are we doing it? Because we got 1.5% cash
1.5% cash back.
And we were spending so much money every month because the business, we were doing $45,000 a month in sales at that point. So I'm like, we're spending probably at least $15,000 on inventory, maybe more, right?
Right.
So, man, I think, even Christmas, I think we spent over $30,000 in 1 month on purchases, right?
Right.
But so that was a lot of money. That was like $450 or something with 1.5%. They give you the math. It sounds great. If you spent $100,000 on this Capital One credit card, you would get 1,500% cash back. But if you didn't pay it off the day before the interest hits, whatever, like 15th or whatever of the month, you would owe a buttload of interest, which would more or less be way more than the actual return of the 1.5% cash back.
Exactly. So we had this wonderful idea. We're spending so much money.
We should get paid for it.
We should get paid for it. We should get that 1.5% back.
Credit card hacking.
They owe us. So let's do it.
Yeah,
so
we're going to get one over the credit card companies.
So we were doing great. We were buying on the credit card, basically maxing it out every month, paying it off. Buying on the credit card, paying it off. Now, what happens when you're buying on the credit card and you're so ready to pay it off and then your income gets shut off?
So yeah, with Amazon, we got shut down at the peak of our business. We were literally killing it, and they shut us down because someone lied and said that we sold a fake product of theirs, right? It was a private label product that we had bought in a return Amazon lot. They lied. And if you're listening, you're a liar. and I want to say other words, but I can't. Beep. No, we got shut down. Our business was shut down it took literally 50 emails over like, I think a month to get turned back on. And then when we got turned back on, our account was under review still for like 2 months. So we didn't get any of the money to us either, right?
And if you haven't heard the story, listen to episodes 2 and 3. That's our whole story, which we'll go into more detail about that.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, the whole point was it just happened to be before we, paid the credit card off, all the money was stuck in Amazon, and we didn't get any of the money for like 3 months.
Right. And, you could be sitting at home and you're like, well, I don't have an Amazon business, but you do have a job. And there's been several occasions where not several, but a couple occasions where Mike's been laid off or let go for no reason, no fault of his own, because
with no warning.
Yeah,
no warning.
They don't give you a warning. They want 2 weeks, but they don't give you a warning. Just saying. Either way, so he got laid off. So this could happen to you very easily. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to say use common sense, because people get laid off and fired all the time. You don't necessarily know the finances of the business or the company that you're working for. So if worse comes to worse, they may love you, but it really comes down to the dollar bill.
Yeah, you can't take offense. It's just business, right?
Right.
Like if the company's not doing well, you cannot pay employees if you have no money. So
exactly.
People have to be fired and people have to be let go. And it's not their fault. It's not like they're not great people. You're probably best friends with your boss, and it doesn't matter. They just have no choice. Exactly. There's no money to pay you.
Right.
So we can't pay you if you ain't got no money.
Exactly.
Right.
So that was one scenario for us where we thought we can just pay it off. Well, we don't believe that anymore. And so let's talk about a couple other scenarios.
Well, I mean, I think when people are, hail to the almighty FICO score, I mean, that's their goal. And that was our goal. We were going to try to buy a house. We were finally making money. We wanted to buy our own house in Florida with a pool and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And literally, the market was great. It was time to buy. And we had this credit score. It took me 3 years to rebuild my credit to a point where it was like 670 or something like that. I missed one payment, and it dropped by 90 points. One payment.
Yeah. There's no grace.
And I told him I was trying to, work out deals, and it was one payment. Luckily, that was the only payment we went negative on the whole time that we were doing that. I'm like, dang on, we probably should figure out a way to fix it. But literally, 90 points in one day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
One payment. It's funny now, my credit score is way up because I paid off like almost all the credit cards, right?
Yeah.
I almost paid off everything. And literally last week or something, or 2 weeks ago, my credit score jumped 60 points in 1 week. Why? Because I didn't know anybody no money no more.
Yep. So, some other things that kept us in debt in our past was just being unaware of our spending. So way back 8 years ago, we had come to Maine, and Mike was working as a contractor here in Maine.
I left. I was getting sold the idea that this contract was going to last 4 years, which doesn't happen. FYI, if you relocate somewhere, you got like 1 year as a contractor based off union agreements. And usually where I work, it's all union type stuff. But I moved there. Talia left a career in teaching. She was done. She hung up her, I guess whatever. They put away her school books, and then she wasn't teaching anymore. And she was going to be a stay-at-home mom. She had, we had a little girl at the time. Oh, 2 little girls. Yeah, Bella and Chase were 2 and an infant. Yeah, 6 months. And we moved to Maine.
Yep.
First time we moved to Maine.
Packed it up.
Yeah. So what happened there? I was making more money than we ever made, right? We lost Talia's income as a teacher, which, 39, 40 grand or something at the time. Yeah. I remember. Somewhere around that. I guess I do remember. I was making something like $25 an hour as a designer, but now I moved to Maine, and all of a sudden, I don't want to say the exact amount I made, but it was a lot of money. It was way more, probably double of what we made at that time, maybe even more.
Yeah. So, it was a really great time. But what we didn't do was we didn't plan for the future. And, people talk about when someone wins the lottery, if they have, and I hate to use this term, but broke mentality, where they basically don't plan for the future.
That's not too bad of a term.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say something real bad.
Oh, okay. I don't say bad stuff.
These MRFers.
No, I don't talk like that.
So, I'm a lady.
So, but, broke mentality is basically where you have no plans for the future. So you just spend.
Yeah.
And you stay stuck in that mentality and you never move forward, and you wonder why you never move forward.
Yeah.
And so we were in that mentality. So we were making so much more money. And this is why people who win the lottery and they have broke mentality, they'll be broke within 2 years. And you wonder why, like, you've had so much money. Well, they didn't know what to do with it. They were not wise with their money. And
like
so,
a lot of sports and athletes, they come into a point where they make a lot of money and they don't know how to keep it. I mean, it sounds so stupid that I don't know that I'm just overspending. I'm not budgeting. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to is I know everybody's been there. You know that, okay, I know how much I make. I know how much bills go out, but I'm scared to look at the bank account because I don't want to feel bad about overspending, right?
Right.
And that's what we were looking at. We figured, Talia said, how much money do you think we have? I'm like, we probably got 10 grand in the bank or something like that. And she goes and looks, we got $1,500. And we're like, what the world happened to all of our money? So we go out there and do a audit more or less. And sure enough, we ain't got no money. And why was that? We ate all the money.
Yeah, we spent ridiculous amounts of money just going out to eat. We were, we were just living life. We were just having a good time. We were just not worrying about things when we should have been saving up for the rainy days, because rainy days always come, right? So we blew, I don't even know how much money. When we looked at that statement, do you remember?
Something we were spending like $2,000 a month, $1,500, $2,000 a month on eating out.
Now that's kind of ridiculous.
And then just buying new clothes. And then we did need new clothes and this and that, but maybe not excessively. And we were spending money on just random stuff. And,
we had it.
Truthfully, hey guys, we were buried in debt at the time too. We were making a lot of money, but we were over giving to the church. We were doing that too. We're offering more. And there is a point where you need to take care of your family first. 10% goes to the church, but you have to get rid of the debt. Like I said, the Bible says, whether you believe it or not, the borrower is slave to the lender. So you have to make sure that you get rid of the chains, right? Get rid of the chains. And we're not completely debt free at the moment. We have a little bit left.
We're so close.
I know, but it's such a big.
Feels so good.
But yeah, it's almost done, and it feels so good to actually own your life, right?
Yep.
So where do we go from there?
Well, we had a car repossessed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well, so the funny story about that is they wouldn't even come get the car. We had to drop the car off to them because the car was worth so little to them, but they also didn't want to let us have it because we still owed them money.
Yeah.
And we couldn't pay them. And so, that's pretty bad when you have to figure out a way to give the car back because they won't come get it.
Yeah. Same thing. It was a funny thing. We bought that car. We took a loan out for $2,500 to buy a car. What kind of, how broke are you that if you don't have $2,500 to buy a car in cash, don't buy the car, right?
Right.
Save the $2,500 up, don't eat out, pinch pennies.
Turn off your cable. You don't need it.
Yeah. Turn off anything, a luxury, whatever, shop at Goodwill. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think if you're in sales and you have to wear a lot of dress shirts and dress pants, go to Goodwill. You'll spend no money and have tons of great stuff. No joke.
Yeah. So, another thing with us that we had was, let's see.
Buying a house.
Yes.
Everybody says a housing market's great. It's a great investment. I mean, it wasn't in our case. We bought a house that at the top of the market in 2006. And literally that stinking thing dropped like a rock. The funny thing, taxes went up like exponentially on the condo, but the value of the house went down by $50,000.
And it hasn't recovered.
Never recovered.
Yeah, we look at that house or the condo every now and then online just to see where it's at. But I mean,
it's a joke.
It really was. And so
you can't tell. Like right now, well, I'll tell you right now, we're at a point where the market's going to collapse here in a couple of years, just FYI. So two different things. You could look at it as time to buy a house because interest rates are low. They're way lower than they were when we bought a house 10 years ago. But another thing to look at is I might be able to buy this house in a couple months or a couple years for like 50 grand cheaper. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that bad, but there's going to be a crash.
Yeah, it's a cycle. He's not, predicting bad things to happen, but it's a cycle that the market goes through. If you look back in history,
every 10 years,
it just keeps going like that.
Collapse. Yeah,
exactly. So, but back to debt. We were buried in debt, and we actually, our last time here in Maine, we took a course called the
Financial Peace University. This Dave Ramsey course. He's syndicated, has like 600 radio stations he's on. He has a podcast. It's free. And I'll give you the first 3 steps of his program today. Go check it out. We're not affiliated with them, but it will help you.
It helped us.
You know, I remember hearing all the time in network marketing that socialsecurity.gov, it said that 98% of people would be dead and broke by the age of 65, meaning they don't have the amount of money to take care of themselves without Social Security or anything else. Like, they have no money in the bank. I think like half the country only has less than $1,000 in their savings account. Things like if someone had an extra $500 a month in income, that would help them not go into foreclosure.
Right.
Things like that I heard, and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe that nobody was willing to do anything about it. Like, there was no fighting trying to make the $500. But I'm telling you today, listen to any of our podcasts. We'll tell you how to make $500 a month. Next week, you know, we're going to talk about eBay and private labeling and different ways that you can make money online that take very little upstart or no startup money at all. And we're going to show you how to make money with it in depth, right?
Right.
We're doing it for free. So come here next week and you'll see all the free stuff. But Dave Ramsey course, first step, put away $1,000 as an emergency fund. Save up $1,000, put it in an account that you do not touch, and have it as an emergency fund. That way, when, you know, like when we were in Virginia in December for Christmas, the day before we were about to drive back to Maine, we needed $900 in brake repair.
Fun! Yay!
Yeah.
That's how I love to spend my time and money.
And right before New Year, it became New Year's Eve because of that. And literally, same thing. Yeah, it literally put us back a day, put us back $900. We had the money in the account, so it did not matter, right?
Right.
When you need tires and your car fails inspection, you have the money. You pay it up front, you know. And I hate that. No one loves to do that, right? You know, even today, Ty, you know, sometimes will come up to me and go like, well, we have this, we can break it up in a payment plan. We're like, no, we have the money, just pay the daggone thing off.
That's right.
Like, because we don't want to be in debt to anybody, right? So that's another thing. Part 2 would be a debt snowball. Start with the smallest debt, and then every time you pay off one, it rolls down to the other. So you got $1,000 saved up. You start say you got a $50 payment on a credit card, you got $300 of debt on, and you do your budget, and you have $1,000 left in the month. You go out there and spend the whatever money to pay off that debt, and then you just keep rolling over until you pay off all the debts with the bigger part of your income. So yeah, that's how the debt snowball works. Just make sure that you're constantly add up all your budget, right? All your bills, whatever money's left, put that towards debt every month and just knock your debt out, right? Me and Ty did that a month ago, something like that. And we literally had 10 debts total, but 7 of them were just tiny, right? So with one paycheck, we knocked out 7 of 10. Yeah, we're babysitting now. Sorry, but you might hear a little baby here every once in a while. But yeah, we knocked them all out. Step 3 is put away 3 to 6 months worth of emergency fund, right? So 3 to 6 months you got to put away and make sure that, it's basically expenses, right? So basically what you do is you add up what you have left out of your budget, right? So you have, say, with all the add of the gasoline and housing and clothes and groceries and light bill, internet, all that, all your basics after you're debt free, you add those up and you save at least 3 to 6 months of that in a money market account or something where it's like a savings account where there's no growth. It's just for emergencies, right? So if that would happen where me and Talia would, I lost my job, if I had 6 months in the bank, at least then I would have had 6 months covered until I found another job, right? Not including unemployment, things like that. So it would have been a completely different situation. Now it wasn't like that. We literally had this great job for 6 months. It ended. We had nothing to show for it. And, we had a house that was $50,000 upside down.
Yeah. And that was absolutely no fun. It's very stressful when you go through a situation where you have no money, you have no safety net, you have no savings, and you have children to take care of, you have your husband or wife to take care of, and you're really struggling to do that.
Yeah. If anything, what having no debt does, being debt free, is it creates security, right? It also, money is literally your most powerful investing tool you have, right? So the more money you have, the more security you have, but the more money you can invest and turn into something great. Me and Talia know right away that, hey, if you have $10,000 today outside of your emergency fund, we could show you how to turn that into a business that does, probably $1 million at the end of the year if you just keep rolling it over and over and over.
Yeah, reinvesting.
So that's what we did with Amazon or eBay and everything else we've done. It's not hard. So, but if you have no money, you can't do anything. When emergencies come, you have nothing to put the fire out with except a credit card or whatever else, or a personal loan or whatever else.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about the flip side of being closer to being out of debt versus having tons and tons of debt. So Mike just said we paid off a bunch of our debt. We still have a little bit to go, but I'll be really excited when we get there. But, I'm probably one of very many people who avoid the phone calls. You see the number of a person you don't know, 800 number. Yeah, probably that bill collector. I'm just not going to answer. Let's see what they say on voicemail. Maybe I'll call them back. And you never do.
And they never leave a voicemail.
Oh, no, they never leave a voicemail. But, ever since we paid off all those debts, the majority of those were in my name. So we're working on the few that are left for Mike. But
you're only the big ones, I guess.
But yeah, so ever since we paid them off, I still get phone calls from numbers I don't know, but now I answer my phone. It's a whole new concept.
Yeah, the anxiety caused by bill collectors calling you is ridiculous, right?
Yeah. But, instead of, being afraid to answer my phone, I answer it now, which is awesome. And also, now instead of getting calls from bill collectors, I'm getting calls from people trying to sell me vacations. So that's pretty awesome.
And give you more credit and everything else.
Yep.
It's funny how this little things can change everything, right? And, me and Talia are very believe in the idea of rolling money over, reinvesting all your profits until, you have a overflow of cash, a lot of cash flow, and then you start literally paying yourself nothing for a while, right? But we also learned the hard way that, when you're trying to do that, to try to make it $1 million company, there's a point where you need to take more out, more savings, have an emergency fund for your business as well.
Yes.
And it's hard because you hate to do it because you're like, I know I can, I need 6 months worth of income, and that's in the savings, and I pay myself $10,000 a month. That's $60,000. It's so hard to say I could turn that 60 into 120 like that, snap the fingers.
Right.
But you can. You need to have the money aside.
Yep.
And it really is hard because we believe in reinvesting, but we learned the hard way. Like I said, if we had $60,000 aside, we wouldn't. Nothing would happen.
We wouldn't have missed a beat.
We wouldn't have missed a credit card payment or anything in that case. So we keep pointing the finger at ourselves. We're telling you, these are situations we went through with debt and whatever else. I couldn't imagine having a brilliant idea and going out there and taking it to investors and saying, I want to give you part of my company for whatever. And now I walk away and they say yes, and they own part of my company, but I also own $1 million in debt or something, right?
Yeah.
There's something powerful about bootstrapping something and taking it from nothing. One of the companies I love is ClickFunnels. You hear me talking about them all the time, but they literally are one of the fastest growing startups in the world, SaaS companies, a software company in the world. And they grew to like $100 million bootstrapping it, no debt or nothing. And I can relate to that. Not $100 million, but, taking something and building something. You know why? Because it feels freeing. A company has no debt on it. It's not going to disappear. It just feels more powerful, right, Talia?
Yeah. And so, one other thing that we didn't talk about was payday loans.
Oh, gosh.
Or title loans. And we actually got one of those, sadly.
We were in rough times. We had to do it.
Yeah, we were in a really rough situation. And, we made a decision to put our title of our car up against this loan.
Because a car is worth $7,000. They gave me $2,000. Great deal for them because if I default, they take my car, right? Sounds good. They have my title at the time, same thing. And if I screwed up, they take my car, and that $2,000 loan cost me and Talia over 11 months, $5,000. But we were so broke, we couldn't pay it off any faster.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, we're saying all that to say, if you cannot afford something in the moment, you need to really reconsider if you need it or not. Now, I know that people go on hard times, and you've been told probably your whole life that credit cards are for emergencies. Well, if you build up an emergency fund, then your emergency fund will be for emergencies. Yeah. Your credit card can just be for having credit, you know, if you feel like that's necessary, but you never have to owe anybody anything. You know, I'm really getting accustomed to spending my own money and not having to worry about a monthly payment. And, you know, we all celebrate when we see someone say, I just paid off my last credit card, or I just paid off my car. Why? Probably because we imagine ourselves never doing that. Yeah. But, you know, we all hope to do it. So,
or paying off your house. Oh my gosh. Right?
Yeah. Paying off your house is another really big one. So, you know, there's many steps in the Dave Ramsey course. And I really recommend, if you haven't looked into it, definitely take the course. It's usually offered at a
church
or
like
some kind of group. And people kind of go through the course with you, so that you have people who are kind of going through the same thing. You can see different scenarios, but you all learn the same thing. And it really will change how you think about your finances and budgeting. I know budgeting is like a bad word to most people. Yeah. And you just say, oh, I'm not good at it. You really, if you take the time and do it, you will change how your finances look.
Yeah, most people, even they live to the extent of their paycheck, so that's how they spend money. They know that I'm a doctor, I make tons of money, so I spend up to that limit of my money. That's what I can afford. But literally, if you went back and looked at what you're spending and budgeting, and you realize that, daggone, I have a lot of money left over probably, or if I paid this off, I'd have a pretty good lifestyle, and I'd have extra $2,000, $3,000 a month that I could use to build a retirement fund, or retire early, or start saving for my 4 daughters' weddings, or four daughters go to college if they want to go, and all these different things. And you're like, you know, same thing. You know, it's whether you believe it or not. You know, Bible says leave an inheritance for your children's children. I think there's no better way than leaving a family-owned business to them, right? Yes. So leaving money is great, but in having that security is what you need. But you could literally handing the keys over to a online business or whatever or, you know, a brand company, whatever, a manufacturing company, whatever the thing is, restaurant. That's what the inheritance is. It's leaving over to your children's children, meaning your grandkids. Yeah. You're covering them. If you've done the work, you leave them a debt-free company that it prints money more or less, because you worked out all the kinks, you worked out all the debt. I mean, the problems, you don't have any debt. How cool is that, right? So I know that if you're in debt today, I understand it's a burden, but you literally have to work on your budgeting. You have to tell your money where to go. They are soldiers, and they're going to the battlefield of debt, right? You tell them your dollars where to go, and you have to be responsible, right? Adults do what produces good. Children do what feels good. So do not act childish. And I know I don't take offense to that. I'm talking to myself too, because, you know, we still make a decent amount of money. And we have a lot of extra money now, and it could easily go sideways, especially for me, where I have to, you know, I don't see my kids 6 days a week, more or less. So I want to spend that weekend, and we go out to dinner and do something nice, and it could go overboard really, really quick. So we have to be careful on our stuff, because we have long-term goals of, you know, taking care of our children's children, right?
Yep. And then one last thing, I just want to caution you, like when you first start to get involved in the Dave Ramsey course and you're trying to save some money, and you say, okay, well, I know I can't put whatever it is, the $1,000 away right now. Well, you can probably put 5 or 10 or 20. Start doing that every paycheck, and eventually you'll get there. But just be careful not to fall into old habits and look back and say, oh, well, so-and-so is going to the movies. Well, I don't have any extra money, but I did have that money that I saved for that emergency fund. Let me just pull that. I'll pull $10 out of there, and then I'll just replace it next time. No, you want to make sure that you set in your mind that is strictly for emergencies. Movies are not emergencies. Dinner is not an emergency. Vacation is not an emergency. So you want to make sure, and the latest gadget that's on sale and won't be on sale ever again, it's not an emergency. Yeah. It is literally to help your family to survive should something happen. Yeah. We have to plan for rain. So
live like nobody else, so one day you can live and give like nobody else. Literally make sure your family's taken care of first, pay your bills. Start saving your money. Start investing your money. Put it in a mutual fund, safe investments, things like that for peace of mind. You know, not to. Here's the deal: 98% of us are average. Let's just face it. We're going to have a regular old life, right? Leave it a beaver life. It's going to be that. You know, 2% of people have the gumption, the gusto to go out there and take what's theirs, make money online or start businesses and go out there and be overachievers, right? The curve breakers, people like that, the round pegs and square holes, whatever. The people that, you know, like the Apple and, you know, Steve Jobs and, you know, Warren Buffett, they are anomalies. You can be the anomaly. I hope you are. I hope you want to be that way. But let's be honest. 98% of the people are going to be we're going to be the workers. We're going to be the hustlers that get the stuff done, but we're probably going to be paid less and, you know, whatever. You can still make it, you know. Millionaire Next Door is the most boring book on the planet to me, but it makes plenty of sense. Save a little bit at a time, put, you know, money into the bank. Most of the millionaires are just regular people that invested their money, a portion of the paycheck every week, like clockwork, into a small mutual fund or whatever else, and eventually they turn to millionaires. Yeah. They own their homes. They live, you know, below their means. They don't buy, you know, new shoes every time the Jordans come out. They don't, you know, they wear like Mark Zuckerberg sweatshirts and the same thing every day because it takes no mental energy like a Steve Jobs does with his outfits and like things like that. They don't overspend. They don't spend money they don't have. Yeah. And like they went out there and just, you know, obviously they have investors and stuff to talk to today, but they started somewhere. They started in a garage. Facebook started in a dorm room. Yeah. You know, Amazon started like in a garage in '94 or whatever. And now Jeff Bezos is worth richest man in the world, right? Yeah. They come through, you know, they're hustlers, they're hard workers. They are the 2%ers that won't take no for an answer and just keep going, right? And and every one of them have something in common. People thought they were crazy and they're stupid and they were out of their mind. Luckily, they didn't believe that.
And don't despise small beginnings. You may not be able to, you know, pull together $1,000 today, but start small, start somewhere because your family depends on you. Yeah. And, you know, you just don't get stuck in that mentality that you got to have the hottest everything that comes out or your kids do. They'll be fine. Trust me. They will. They'll be fine.
Literally, yeah. Don't despise small beginnings. People want it. You just have to start, right? Get going today on paying off your debt. Become debt-free. Let's do a debt-free scream together for you guys. And hope we point you in the right direction today. We went through so much crap. I'm telling you, we even left out the part that we were at one point trying to file bankruptcy. We were so broke we couldn't file bankruptcy. We couldn't afford to pay the attorney fees. You know what? But I tell you what, it felt really good this year when they called us. Our old lawyers called us and said, hey, I guess by law they had to return the money after a certain point. Yeah. Right? So it's been 7-8 years since that point, and they literally gave us $500 back. We're like, oh, that's cool, you know. And that was a victory. We had little small victories of paying off credit cards, of paying off a small student loan or a small medical bill. We all have life happen to us, but you can be prepared for it just knowing that it is coming, right? It's coming. So I tell you, go out there and listen to the, like I said, Dave Ramsey or whatever else. Go out there and start a small business. We're going to talk about that all next week, all about making money for yourself. It's not going to cost you a penny. Come here, subscribe, and you're going to learn all about it. We're going to tell you about private labeling again and more in depth about brand building, more or less, not just Amazon. We're talking about everything. But we are going to talk about reselling on Amazon as well. Yep. We're going to tell you exactly what we do to make money in depth. And it's something that you can go out and deploy tomorrow, start making money. Or today, or when this podcast airs, right? We're going to tell you about eBay. eBay's not dead. I made an extra $500 this week selling stuff I had laying around collecting dust that I didn't need, I didn't want, whatever. We haven't even really gone out there and started scouting on eBay, but literally, we're going to tell you all about it. I'll help you make an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 this month on, selling on eBay based off your restrictions and listings. We'll talk about that. But literally, we're going to show you how to do it. And we're not going to charge you a thing. All you got to do is show some love and leave us a review. So please, please, please show some love. We love you. We love doing this. We just need to know that you love it too.
And let iTunes know.
Yeah.
Stitcher know.
If not, we're just going to keep recording these and you're going to be annoyed by us.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MIB podcast. Send us your success stories. We really want to hear from you and hear how things are going for you and give you any encouragement that you might need. info@themibpodcast.com. Guys, go out there, save some money, get that safety net ready for your family because rain will always come.
Yeah. And you know what's really nice? Fixing your roof before it rains. You know what's nice? Fixing your timing belt before it's needed to be fixed, right? Before it causes more damage. Putting new tires on a car before, it's always a car analogies because crap happens to us all the time, Yeah. Fixing a battery ahead before the battery leaves you stranded, right?
Right.
And this is stuff that's going to save you so much time, so much stress, and so much, it caused so much anxiety, and it'll be cured by just making sure, knowing that you're taken care of, right?
Yep.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you on episode 19.